We live. All right. Welcome to Open Mat Chronicles. 1865 Rod here. I got Schaefer as always, but we do have a special guest in the house today. The very, very elusive, and I say that for facts, dude. It's very hard to get a hold of. David Henson. I call him Hensonitis. Talk to us, David.
I'm David Henson. I'm a black belt under Gustavo Enriquez, currently training at Precision Jiu-Jitsu. I'm also the head coach for Code 3 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Ran out of Meadow Vista, California.
How long have you been training, David?
17 years.
Okay, he's like coming up on you.
Been around
Yeah, he's
for
an
a
OG.
while.
He's an OG. He's definitely OG.
Nice. Yeah, I've been dating for that's like 8 years and some change.
Well, like a lot of my videos, I'll be like, "Yeah, David told me this, David." So this is the David I'm talking about right here.
No, we name drop you a lot.
Yeah, we do name dropping. We try to.
All right.
So what are we talking about, Schaefer?
So today we want to know, what do or should traditional values and traditions like actually play a part in modern jiu-jitsu? I mean, it kind of comes back to that thing I used to always talk about. Is it a sport or is it a martial art? If it's like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about all this, mysticism and whatnot from, from martial arts? Or are we just talking about like, can a guy grab you and fold you into a fucking pretzel and just do some sport shit to you? So let me know. Let's get it started. I got
Okay.
this.
Well, let's this first. I'll ask David. Okay, so what are the benefits of some of the traditional components to jiu-jitsu?
Well, I think one of the main benefits that I see is it provides cohesion across different schools. When
Get a little closer.
when I was brought up, I was brought up pretty traditionally in the different schools that I came through. Cassio's school and Cassio's instructors, and we bowed on and off the mat. We all that everything.
Yeah.
Face away from the black belts with the
yeah.
higher belt.
Yes.
The bars on the right side.
Yes.
And I knew that any school I went to, I knew how to act when I went there. And I thought that was a pretty useful thing for me.
Yeah.
Are you still seeing that when you travel around and
Absolutely
check out
not.
Really?
But there are schools where you go there, and if you don't bow on and off the mat, somebody's going to look at you funny.
Okay. Now, looking at you funny is one thing. Would they be so bold as to say, hey, you don't get on the mat without bowing to your sensei?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're seeing that sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
But not a lot.
But it depends on the school and like how old. I think it goes back to like the era. The think about when you came up, it was like that second generation, right? That old school, Casio, Terry Maxwell. That's old school, right? They're going to have those same shared values. Because I know when I went to, I think I trained at the Rice Brothers, and I was like bound. I'm like, thank you, sir. He's like, yeah, we don't do that here. Like, you're good. Like, just go on and roll, bro. I'm like, okay, it's all good.
Wasn't that in like the Marvel thing where he was like, he bowed to T'Challa, the Black Panther. He's like, we don't
do that here. Yeah. But I bet you if you went, and I'm speculating here, I don't know, but I would imagine if you went to Gordon Ryan's class, he's not going to be bowing and doing all this traditional. But you go to AOJ, Andre Gaval, he's going to make you bow probably. Probably. I could be wrong.
Gracie Bar.
Gracie Bar. Gracie's probably even more so.
Yeah. They're almost like judo.
Very tradition.
See, so I know I've mentioned this before, and I appreciated the fact that we didn't adhere to so many traditions as far as like the bowing and like the you're flogging yourself for Helio and whatnot. We didn't do a lot of that stuff. I mentioned before, Hassett, he comes from an old Subak Do background, and they were fucking tough. Like, they were in there and they were serious about their traditions, but he didn't carry that over to his jiu-jitsu, and that worked well for me because if I had to bow every time I did something, or if I had to turn away and it's like, don't look the picture of Helio in the eyes when you tie your belt. That's what I'm like.
That Helio.
Yeah, right. I'm like, look, man, he was cool and whatnot. He was still alive when I was training. But I'm like, come on, man. He's not the second coming. He's a dude. It's like, I'm a dude, you're a dude, he's a dude.
But
she's a dude, everybody's a dude.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, Harold. It goes back to that. Remember, we talked about it on another podcast, too. It's like you're developing these people that maybe we don't want to make douchebags, right? We want to make good people. And sometimes discipline creates structure. And a lot of times the students like that, too. They enjoy that. Like, I'll give you an example. Friday night class, we'd have open mat. And, like, not that many people would show up. And we switched it to a class where we're actually teaching moves and we had some structure. Our Friday nights are killing it right now. We have like 20 something. Like it's pretty good for a small school. I mean, there's a lot of people there.
It's amazing how many people will give up their Friday night to party
To go-
to come fight,
To go train.
and listen to me and Rod's dumbass just like talking and teaching shit. It's
Well,
crazy.
to be fair, plenty of partying goes on those Friday nights as well.
Actually, yeah.
All right,
That's actually
let's go away.
that's our next episode.
Yes, there is a lot of partying after the fact.
But so do people like structure? I think they like it. Gus said that actually, and I was arguing with him, and I'm like, you know what, Gus, you're actually right, man, because they do like it.
All right. So I'll give my point. Then Dave, you jump in too, and then Rod, you jump in on
All right.
this one because I came from a military background prior to going to jiu-jitsu. And to be perfectly honest, I think a huge part of why I preferred not having traditionalism was because I had my freaking fill.
Oh yeah, that makes
I
sense.
had my fill. I had my fill of protocol and having to do this. And if I step into a building, I gotta take my hat off, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. I can't put my hands in my pockets. I'm like, damn, man, this is crazy, right? And when I got out of that, I was like, I'm free. I
Yeah.
can do whatever the fuck I want, and it's awesome. And then I was like, all right, now I'm here. I'm in jujitsu, and if that shit would have been like, if I would have met Hassett and he would like, you just stepped on my mat, bow to your sensei. And I'm like, oh no, man. And he would have whooped my ass. He could have made me bow, but I would have hated that. I would have never came back.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, nowadays there's a lot more wrestlers and stuff coming in.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, man, I ain't fooling with nobody. I've been wrestling my entire life since I was 5 years old, and I've never bowed to somebody. I don't need to do that. And
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people, they're not about the traditional martial arts style about it. They're there to be athletes. But I think it's good to at least let them know, you know.
let him
What?
see a piece of it.
Let them see
Yeah.
a piece of it. You know, you don't have to be militant about it and be like, bow to your sensei,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
all that. But definitely let them know what is expected at some gyms. Just be like, hey, you might run into this, so this is just a thing.
Gotcha, for sure.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
I think that that's a good point. Is that like what David said? A lot of wrestlers are coming in now, and see that we didn't have that demographic to the degree that we have today. 8 or 10 years ago, it was like freaking nerdy engineer or whatever that was doing jujitsu. So they were just very
Assassins.
Yeah, they were very moldable, and they're like, I just want to learn jujitsu, and they embraced everything. But like you said, now you get wrestlers coming in. They've already been doing grappling for years, right? So they're already kind of headstrong. So it's a wider demographic that we're catering to now.
All right, and that makes sense, and I can respect that. I mean, because look, I look at guys like from the UFC guys, like John Jones or whatever. He's a purple belt.
But I think he likes tradition, though. I think he
so,
does.
too.
He's like, I like
But
tying. I
from
like
his
the
wrestling background and whatnot, he probably didn't have that. It
Yes.
wasn't so much like, hey, Val, do this, do that. It was more like, I need you to perform. I need
yes,
you to show
it
out.
results driven.
Yes, I was like, it's like, look, when I say go, you go. You
Yeah.
don't think about it, you don't do anything, you just make it happen. And I don't need you to go in and go, I'm doing this for Master Roshi.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Old Dragon Ball stuff.
So, okay, let me ask you this, David, since you got a lot of experience, what is the reason, do you think, for most of the traditions? Is there a reason to turn your back to, like, there's got to be an underlying reason.
You got to remember the origins of jiu-jitsu. It came from judo, which is, late 19th centuries Japan.
Yeah.
It was a martial art
Feudal
when they
Japan,
took away
yeah.
their samurai swords and
You're right. Yeah.
when Japan got colonized, they took away their means of defending themselves with
crazy.
weapons. So they had to come up with a way of defending themselves barehanded, and that's where it all started. So when it's a life
true.
and death situation, the Japanese, they did everything.
It's like military.
That's the tradition. It wasn't tradition to them. To them, it was life.
Yeah.
And that's how a samurai was trained, and they took those samurai ways. And it is leftovers from the samurai.
Yeah.
We're not samurais. Don't anybody ever get that
Yeah.
mixed up. I hate hearing people say like, oh, we're warriors, we're going to battle, or things like that. We're not samurais.
It's like, dude, you're an accountant.
But we are downstream from the samurais a very long ways.
Yeah, I
It
understand.
is a part of what we do.
Facts.
And the
Right.
military is very structured, so that's their military back then.
Yes, which is again why for me I was like I wanted to get away from it.
Wait,
I was in the infantry. It was like you crawl through the mud, you shoot machine guns, you do what you're told, or people die. I mean, so it's like you had that structure, and I didn't want to take that into my civilian life. I wasn't trying to like
You're rebellious.
because everybody when they start jujitsu, you're probably paying someone, right? And I wasn't going to pay a joker to fucking yell at me and tell me what I could and could not do.
You read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's what it was.
I just No, I swear to you, I just ordered another copy of Rich
That's a
Dad Poor
great
Dad
book.
today.
That's a great book.
To give to my daughter.
Yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
actually. It should be when I leave here. It should be at my house. I'm going to give it to my daughter.
There you
so she
go.
can
It's
start
one of
reading
those things that should be like required high school.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Elementary school
It
reading.
gives
It's
you-
not
it gives
even
you a whole
hard reading,
different-
you know?
Man, listen, we're about to get into a financial
I
podcast.
know. It's like,
It's a little talk, BJJ, Doug.
okay, so going back to
All over the
samurais,
place.
check it out. Here's a little fun fact. I don't know if it's true, but I did read that the reason they do those super high kicks, like those roundhouse kicks really high, is because like it goes back to what you're saying. They had to kick the guy off the freaking horse.
Yep.
That's why they did that.
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. That's why they developed that high kick. So that's the first thing.
It's like Uso will kick you on top of your head.
This is good, dude.
He is.
Oh yeah, he's dangerous.
Yep.
Man.
Unassuming.
Fast feet.
Unassuming, man. You do not.
Sweetest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Until he throws that kick. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
Even on jiu-jitsu, man, he's deadly, dude. He's really good.
Yeah,
But
shout out to
took
Uso.
He took that martial arts training from the past and he applied it like spot on to his
Yep.
jujitsu. He is just miserable to fight.
Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah.
That's a good way to describe
Yeah, it is terrible.
It is not fun.
I hate
You look at
rolling.
him, you're like, I might win this, but it's not going to be fun.
It's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
I will admit that he caught me with some weird shit.
It's always weird. He's very unorthodox.
Yeah,
His whole
like,
style is unorthodox.
I was in his guard and I'm like, all right, good. I'm about to pass this Joker's guard, about to do my damn thing. And I did something and he grabbed his hands and caught
Oh,
my
I know what he
wrist or
did.
something.
Yeah, I know what he did.
And he put so much just weird pressure. I'm like, wait a minute, is he about to snap my arm with his forearms? This can't be real life.
Yeah.
It's real life.
Well, he's done many martial arts, you know, so he's got, you know, it gives you a slightly different angle of viewing, you know, techniques. Like that one dude, remember Derek, the Aikido guy a couple years ago?
Yeah.
He would do some weird wrist lock to you that you're not ready for. And
I don't
like,
remember
yeah, if I know it's coming and stuff, I'm getting out of that. But if I don't know it's coming,
Yeah.
he'll twist you up and you're
It's
like,
gonna
oh,
work.
yeah, it's going to work. And it's something like an angle that you've never thought of.
So I did a whole straight up fucking Steven Seagal class. Like,
We did.
It was like, was it Wednesday or
It was Friday. It was Friday.
Couple Fridays
This
ago.
Friday.
Man, I was
All
showing
white
these
belts.
shows-
All
I
white
know,
belts.
I'm wrong,
Teach
I'm
him.
wrong. I was teaching
After we
a
did the
whole bunch of
podcast,
white
Quick
belts.
Kills. After we did Quick Kills podcast, you go and do that. I'm like, you gonna do everything we just talked about. But it was
wrong.
awesome. It was
I
great.
wrong.
No, you weren't. You were right.
I was,
You're good.
I was showing these fuckers some wrist locks, like straight up.
It was
like
awesome.
the shit looked like action movie wrist lock.
It was
like,
pretty good.
This guy reaches out and she tries to grab you. If you didn't know your wrist broke, you shouldn't have put your hands on me, right? Grab it and you fucking dive roll and spun under and hit this shit. And they were like,
Their eyes lit up.
they were
Like,
like,
oh my God.
oh. I was like, hell yeah. I said, do that shit in a competition.
See, that's how I was when I learned leg
Blue belt
locks.
first.
No, yeah. Actually, we got one guy who's going to a competition, and for whatever reason, it's fucking prison rules.
Okay.
It's fucking prison.
No.
rules.
Let's
He
go with
can
that.
Go in, he can wrist lock at white belt. I said, do this shit. You're gonna love it. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be great.
Let's go with that because look, that's part of tradition, right? Tradition is rules, right? Rule sets. IBJJF is pretty much a standard. Okay, not now. Now everybody's doing heel hooks. They're doing wrist locks. And I even started. I was wondering, like, do you teach everybody everything? And I guess you do. Nowadays, you do.
EBI.
Whoa.
And Naga.
Yeah,
So do we have to? Should we adapt to that? And it's like, bro, everybody knows everything in our school. Everybody knows everything. There's no rules. Or what do you think? Like, what do you guys do over there, at Precision?
You're teaching general classes. There's so many people nowadays. Like you can't.
Do you have rules though? Like white belts can't do heel hooks until.
Really, it's like know
See,
your opponent.
that's a
you
new
know?
norm. That's a new norm. It is.
Upper belts take care of the lower belts. Know your opponent. Don't be slapping stuff on super fast.
Yeah.
Give everybody an opportunity to tap. It's general etiquette. We don't. It's almost like an unspoken thing nowadays. You know? You just every once in a while you got to remind someone. Like hey, chill out. Oleg, don't grab my leg and just roll
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so I mean, and I get that too, and I think that 10th Planet's idea was very similar to that, right? They're like, no, you show everybody everything. You can destroy a Joker's leg with a heel hook the same way you could with a freaking Kimura, and in fact, it's almost, it's almost functionally the same thing. A Kimura is a
It's
heel
the same
hook
thing.
on your arm instead of the leg. It's just you're going to shred the elbow or you're going to shred the knee. So it's like if you can do either one, I mean, either one's gonna fuck you up.
inside heel hooks like a Kimura,
Oh,
outside heel hooks like a kilo.
Like, a key lock. Exactly.
Just doing it to a different part of the body.
I mean, I think it's a mental thing, though. That's the only thing. The only issue I have is, like, do you want to put your health in the hands of some white belt that's been training 6 months and he's going to heel hook you? Like, he doesn't have the mental control. Like, he doesn't know. Like, oh, this guy doesn't know heel hooks. He's going to spin out. I'm going to let it go. He doesn't know to let it go. He's going to freaking crank it.
Exactly.
And now I'm limping.
You got to have those conversations with dudes.
I do, but I also see that this comes back to, are you actually putting your health in their hands, or are you still going to take responsibility for it and say, hey, listen, I know that this guy knows some weird shit. We allow this here. I need to always be prepared for it. You should always start with the possibility of them doing some off-the-wall shit.
Absolutely. But then this comes back to the original question about tradition and jiu-jitsu and what I said with the having cohesiveness when you go to different schools, because you send that dude who's used to doing heel hooks and stuff as a white belt at your gym to some Gracie Barra school, and he starts trying to heel hook a brown belt.
That's all bad.
That guy's going to have a bad base.
And that's very important.
That, whose fault is that? That's the instructor's fault
right, yeah,
for allowing that to happen.
That's a very good
And
point.
I think a lot of instructors want to do things their own way, and they sell their students short when they go to visit other places.
Okay. I can see that.
I think
Totally
I've seen instructors like step outside the norms of their belt promotions, skipping, like changing the tradition of belt promotions. And then that student, say he's on vacation somewhere and he wants to drop in, and he has to explain, why does your belt look like that?
Yeah.
And now he's like, oh shit, I don't want to drop in. Places.
Right.
Everybody I'll talk to thinks I'm some sort of goof with my belt looking like a candy cane. And,
oh man, I'm looking back there at my belt.
You're funny.
Hey, I had it too.
We did. We all had it.
I'm saying this from experience.
100%.
And I think that,
both of you.
and like, if you're an instructor and you want to say, well, that's just how I want to do it, and that's how I'm going to do things.
That's your
hey,
prerogative.
that's your prerogative, but you can't be surprised when that
comes back.
You shouldn't go that far outside the norm of the
You
jiu-jitsu culture.
Because
if everybody else does it a certain way, you should kind of conform to that, I believe.
I mean, you don't have to be militant, and like we don't. Jiu-jitsu is very non-dogmatic, which is awesome about it. But it,
Yeah, for sure. See, my shit was, I had my 4 stripes. I love my 4 stripes. It was awesome. But yeah, when I came here, I look at a couple of these jokers. I'm like, yo, they got like 57 stripes on his belt. And then so we had one guy, my boy Tommy. He's another one for whatever reason. John just kept putting stripes on his belt.
For real?
I swear to God, dude. He's got a belt. I think it was either his purple or brown. Man, almost the belt just has stripes going more and more and more. And I remember when he got his black belt, we were like, fuck yeah, finally.
I think that's hilarious if you do it to like one dude, but if that's like your whole school.
No, it was just that one dude.
Sometimes you gotta, I mean, we got this guy Halen. I'd do that.
Hell yeah.
Just because he's my buddy.
He might have been on
I like
podcast.
seeing him squirm.
He was on podcast.
He might have been on here before.
He's the best.
That was a good podcast too.
Everybody loves Halen.
Halen's awesome. Shout out to Halen, wherever he is.
Shout out wherever he is.
I'm here in spirit.
Somewhere.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's talk about this. Let's go this. Okay, so what are the limits to when does it go too far? Okay, let's do that. Yeah. When does tradition go too far? And I'll give you an example. I'm not going to shout out schools, but schools, you got to buy our gi. Period. This is the only gi you can wear. You got to wear our patches.
That's absolutely ridiculous, I think. I saw an Instagram video the other day.
Not naming names, but you know what I mean.
Not naming names, but I saw an Instagram video the other day, and they were doing it the judo tradition way, and it was like, 2 black belts are on the mat. A guy shows up late to school, and he just gets on the mat. And like the whole point of the Instagram video was like, oh, this guy's crazy for just getting on the mat.
Bro, we'd be kicked out. We'd be kicked out of the
most jiu-jitsu
school.
schools are not doing that, you know? And I think today's day and age, when you're charging this much for jiu-jitsu, how much people are charging, and people have worked, they got families, they got home life that they got to balance jiu-jitsu with. You cannot have that same expectation.
And
David, you made a good point.
I totally agree. You want to take it? Because I got some.
Yeah, because I got some. Okay, so you made a good point. Here's what it is. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember. I'm kind of old, but remember that Kung Fu series? Remember Kung Fu with what's the guy's?
Oh, yeah, David Carradine.
David Carradine. Okay, so back in that day, like he was a little kid. He was waiting in the rain, dude. Yeah, with the rice. He was waiting in the rain. Please accept me, accept me. Like, it was no fee. It wasn't commercialized. He was waiting in the freaking rain, and it was like, no, he wasn't fully Chinese. They didn't want him. He was half white, right? They're like, nah, we ain't gonna get you. But they were racist back then. No, but they let him in. They were cool. They finally let him in. They made him sit in the rain for like 4 days. But then after that, all right, we let him in. He's gonna die out here, so he's all good, right? But now it's not that. Now it's like, I'm paying you, $150, $200 a month, whatever, to go to your school. So now it's a service. Right. You're right. So the tables have turned.
So this is the commercialization of the whole thing, right? And with commercialization comes the destruction of traditionalism. You can't be commercial and traditional at the same time, right? Because tradition says, you're right, you just show up and you go, I want to train with you, and you stand his ass out there for 4 days, and he freaking cleans the mat. And he's doing all this bullshit, and he's learning from you, but you're not charging him shit.
Yeah.
You're hitting him with that Mr. Miyagi, that wax on, wax off, right? But when you go, oh, hell yeah, man, come and train. Yeah, so I need you to give me your credit card information. Well, at that point,
it's changed right there.
A service, and you can't ask me to pay you and then also fucking bow to you.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. I'm like, no, man. Here's what you're not catching on, homie. I'm learning from you, but you're working for me. And that's a
rich dad, poor dad,
right?
Rich dad, poor dad.
That's a hell of a thing. I trained under a dude who he would charge like $170 a month for jiu-jitsu,
right?
And you weren't allowed to train anywhere else. And if you trained anywhere else, you were gonna get hurt at the next practice.
Which is
and he would act like you did the worst thing in the world by doing that. And it's like, could you imagine going and buying a burger at a place?
You can't get a burger.
You go get a burger at McDonald's the next day, then you come back a couple days later and they poison your burger because you got a burger at McDonald's.
Yeah,
that's the same thing.
You're right.
And
it's funny.
100%. You're nailing it.
Yeah.
And like you said, could you imagine? You go, okay, dude, so I just want to do this damn thing. I want you to teach me this, but you also want me to, like.
But it's because students accept that. They accepted that for a while.
They have to, but that's because jiu-jitsu's a fucking cult.
We did a podcast on that one.
Because people go, damn, man, it's like, I want to give him all my money and I want to give him all my time, and he has all the knowledge and no one else knows this. He's got the secret sauce, and I'm going to find this, and I'm going to be one, and I too shall ascend.
Damn, we sound like we're really against traditionalism. Because here's my thing. I'm not either. I'm not. Either. I like some of it.
I still love it.
So what's the balance?
What I do as an instructor for adults is I let them know what the tradition is. I usually don't say anything to anybody. If I don't see you bow on and off the mat, I'm not going to say a word.
Yeah.
If I don't see you tie your belt with the bar on the right, if it's on the left side, not the right side, or the right side or the left side, I'm not going to say a word about it. But when you're getting introduced to jiu-jitsu, I'm going to let you know, hey man, when you tie your belt, let's get that bar on the left side if you can.
There you go.
Hey, if you're going to tie your belt in a room with black belts, face away from the black belts to tie your belt. It's not a big deal, but try and do it,
It's teach them etiquette.
That way, when you are at a place and you have that in your head, you're like, maybe I should do it this time, And they at least know.
That little earwig.
Yeah.
You go, oh man, you know what? Coach Dave told me, he said, oh, you do this right.
Exactly.
Do this the right way, just because you're representing yourself.
You know what it's like?
Also representing your instructors and your team.
You got a great analogy.
What do you got?
Okay, so it's like you're teaching them how to have proper etiquette, dining etiquette, right? You have your certain software, or not software,
forks and
knives, right? You got your what is it? What's the word for it? Like silverware, right? Silverware on this side, silverware on this side. Then you got some silverware on this side, and it's each one has like a designated place to place in time to work.
My grandmother,
right? It's good to know that, right? So if you go to a formal setting, you have etiquette, you have manners. But if you go to get a carne asada burrito, you need all that, right? You're good, right? So you grab it, just rip it in half, eat it like a big dog burrito.
It's teaching your kids manners when they're little kids.
That is good.
That brings up another great topic: is teaching kids.
Yes.
Oh, they should know it.
I teach a lot of kids classes now, and if I didn't have tradition, like if I wasn't running my class in a traditional way, with like, hey, bow before you enter the mat, like these kids are going to run wild.
Yep.
For sure.
Like,
It's like
out
herding
of control.
cats. Like
It's
herding
impossible to do. I've seen schools that don't do that, and they get a third done what I get done.
For sure.
Because, my kids, we have a great time, but they're going to not talk when I'm talking. They're going to stand up straight. They're going to have their gis and belts fixed when they're lined up, because that's the standard of the gym.
100%.
But also, the standard is me. When I'm at the gym, everything that I tell them that, hey, man, I'm not going to say anything about it, you should do this, I do myself. My bar is always on the left side.
Yeah.
I'm always facing away from all the belts when I tie my belt. Not because I'm going to be militant or anything, but because I want these other guys to see, like, hey.
Lead by example.
Exactly. And I think that is the extent of tradition.
Tradition, yeah.
I feel you. And you know what? I mentioned before how when I taught kids classes, they were like, "Oh my God, you're very militaristic." Like I said that before.
I cannot
right?
teach.
And
I can't picture you teaching
"Whoa."
kids.
But I did.
I know. It's funny.
I had these kids. I'm like, "Whoa." I mean, I didn't say it quite like this. I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up. Ain't nobody talking when I'm talking. I didn't say it like that, but
get it.
That was the point. I'm talking, you're quiet, because I'm trying to convey knowledge. And you know what? Your mommy and your daddy are sending you here to absorb the knowledge that I'm trying to convey. And I also do that. I hate to say it. I mean, I'll say it. I do that in my adult classes too.
Yeah.
I tell people so many times, I'm like, hey, you know what? I mean, I need you to use your left hand, and they'll grab with their right. I'm like, your other left. I'm like, listen, I need you to actually listen to what I'm saying. I don't want you to do what you feel like fucking doing. I want you to do what I'm telling you to do, because what I'm telling you to do is going to make your jiu-jitsu better.
Like, no, but what if I do this?
Right? I'm like, fuck what you're thinking. You're not going to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what you need to do right now. After you've learned what I show you, if you want to then put some spice into it, go for it. But don't try to tell me, I want to do this instead of what you said. So that's the traditionalism part, because, like I said, I don't want people ignoring what the fuck I'm telling them to do.
Yeah.
Like, that really pisses me off.
It helps with the culture of the class.
Yes.
Okay, so now I got a good one. Here's a positive tradition.
Hard ass Esther. Esther.
Oh, shit. We're
going to get her on the podcast.
We got to get Esther on. Yeah, we can get Esther on for sure.
Man, she's getting tough.
Is she really?
I rolled with her last week.
Baby tank.
Her balance, I was like,
that's good, man. I'm happy.
Different Esther.
I'm happy.
So I work with her with the state, and we were talking, actually we were messaging back and forth too. And I was like, I swear I'm going to put you on this podcast because I got so many damn stories.
That's good, man.
She's so quiet.
She is, but man, she's going to be awesome.
Baby Tank. Shout out to Baby Tank.
Tank.
Okay, so here's a good piece of tradition right here. The lineup, and I'll tell you why I like the lineup. Okay, so let's say you have bad blood against somebody, right? Like, damn, we had a hard roll, like this guy freaking tapped me out or whatever, and you're pissed off. Then you have to shake that hand, man. You gotta hug it in, right? It kind of like heals it a little bit, I think.
For sure.
It makes everybody humbles your, you drop your ego, and you're like, all right, man, it's all good, dude.
You understand
good roll.
It wasn't personal. You were just rolling.
It's just what it is. Yeah. So I like that part of it. What I don't like, here's one that on the like the antithesis of that would be, can I get some water? Like, no, dude. There's schools that still do that. Can I get some water?
See, that's too much.
Crazy, dude.
Asking if you can get water.
Asking if you can get water. Like, you can't leave the mats. Like, that's a lot of control they're exerting over you.
That's like when you're in jail back in the freaking 30s and 40s, and you go, "Hey, boss, I want to go.
Take it off over here,
wipe it off, boss.
Take it off over here, boss.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Cool hand Luke, baby. Cool hand Luke.
That's too much.
I've been in wrestling rooms where that's the rule, though.
Yeah,
you gotta ask for water?
Yeah, man.
Oh man, no, dude.
Bro,
oh my god. No, bro, you about to see me get a heat. I'll get a heat stroke. I'll get a heat stroke and sue you guys.
Has a toughness culture.
It does. It's predicated on physical prowess.
So jiu-jitsu is a little bit more. I've noticed a lot of places it's kind
more
of your own
nuanced
speed, kind of like you come as you are, like you advance at your own pace, But
that's why it's so mainstream, though.
That's why they say jiu-jitsu's for everybody.
But that kind of is, though.
That's where they got that bullshit, right? Because
I find that the most annoying.
Yes, I know. We just talked about that. It is not for everybody, but it was advertised as jiu-jitsu. Well, actually, it was just recently advertised as jiu-jitsu for everybody because before it was not for everybody.
Man, when I started, it was not everybody's going to get a black belt.
Everybody.
Yep, you're right.
Not everybody's going to get a fucking blue belt.
And if you do, you'll bounce.
Well,
Half of them bounce.
Well,
see, back in the day,
That's still
like
there.
now, but like if you got that blue belt back in the day, you were a tough motherfucker because
Bro, blue belts. Oh man,
I think I trained for a year and a half before I saw blue belt.
I was just getting my ass beat. Like my first couple of years, all I remember was getting beat up. Like it was
blue
just
belts were monsters.
Stop! Why are they hurting me so much? Like people were just beating the shit out of me.
Everyone in our class was
like
blue belts and white
fucking
belts. That's it.
years.
Just it was all like Trevor, Rex, all these these
Well,
high level
you guys
guys
had that crew of people that were blue belts for
like years.
Yeah.
Were they really blue belts? Come on.
You guys were like,
Well, I started with all those guys.
I know.
In Roosevelt at MMA school, we all started at the same time. By the time I was like halfway through my purple belt, they were just getting their purple belts, and I was like,
That's
"You guys."
insane.
But it took like shorter time at purple belt than I did. I was
that's
for
true.
7 years.
Okay, that's
I was
true.
purple belt long as fuck.
I was a blue belt for barely anything, you know. It just
See, I was blue belt for long as fuck too. I was everything for long as fuck.
See, I was a white belt for a long
I
time,
suck at jiu-jitsu.
but the blue belt was shorter, so it does kind of factor that in.
purple belt should be your longest belt.
It should,
Yes.
yeah, purple belt
Which is
purgatory.
That's
what they say.
Purple belt purgatory.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, dude, I took so many ass beatings that it was just like, that was just what I expected. I'm like, okay, so what I need to do is just survive. I got it. I get it. But watch this shit. Because again, that was the infantry mentality, right? I'm like, well, you're gonna have to fucking kill me. I'm like, I was like, I'm gonna stay. I'll take your beatings. I'm like, but at some point in time, I'm gonna stop you from beating my ass.
I just thought of something.
Yeah.
So that jiu-jitsu isn't for everything, that for everybody that we were just saying.
Yeah.
That kind of leans into the jiu-jitsu at your own pace kind of thing. You know, like if you're taking your own pace to do things, you may not progress to the highest levels that you can. So sometimes the tradition, you know, of like pushing people, you know, and having expectations of them might push them past their boundaries.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
That's true.
So, see, so it comes back to like John Hassett was not forcing traditions like that and all this shit, but toughness was a requirement, right? It was like, look, we used to call shit. I still say to this day, I'm like, yo, we're gonna give him some Hassett loving. Right? So Hassett loving, you know, you remember, you might have seen when I talked to the Ezekiel chokes and shit like that. But instead of an Ezekiel choke that drops down in front of the throat and gets you a good solid strangler choke, drop it on your fucking jaw.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I would say, here's the point of this Ezekiel choke. What we're really trying to do, we're gonna dislocate his mandible. Right? And
take a molar out.
Yeah, and we're like, we're gonna do this.
It's a bad tooth anyway.
Until he'll tap or his jaw just dislocates. Right? That's how we were fighting. Like, we were mean.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came here, I know a lot of people were like, what the fuck are they doing in New Jersey? They were like, you're mean, man. Like,
that was a thing though. Like when
it was.
I don't know what year you started jiu-jitsu, but when I started, schools were still getting dojo stormed.
Yes,
Being
exactly.
in high school, and a fucking jeep load of dudes from the local MMA school show up with their shirts off. And I'm not even exaggerating. They show up with their shirts off, and they're like, "We're purple belt, we need to roll."
What's up?
And
What's up?
I'm a purple belt. My coach is a black belt, and then everybody else is a white belt.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Dave, we doing this?" I'm like,
Fuck yeah.
I guess we are, you know, and you got to be ready to roll with people who have bad intentions back then.
That's true.
Nowadays,
that's true.
Nowadays, it's a business. It's like,
Yeah.
don't come into my business with that.
It's like,
You're
get
right.
out of here
It's different.
with your tough talk.
Back then, it was straight up old school
Yeah.
juke.
We say,
that explains it.
Lock the fucking doors
to fight your
Yep.
That explains
exactly.
it.
you know?
They were like, lock the fucking door. We're about to do this shit.
That
Every once
explains
in a while, we get those great videos on Instagram of some
Beautiful,
idiot who goes in and goes, "I want to fight the coach." And we all see how that happens every time. Anybody listening out there, I'm going to look right in the camera when I say this.
Yeah.
Anybody listening out there, if you think that's a good idea, do not do it.
No. Yo, I got a story. I got a story. This is a good story. This is a Hanson story, actually. This was actually legit, dude. We had this wrestler guy come in one time. I don't know if you remember. He probably doesn't even remember. This dude was probably 230, big old buff mofo, right? Jacked, all looked like he was juiced out. D1 wrestler. And at the time, we had some good brown belts here. We had blue belts, purple belts. We had a lot of guys there. I think I might have been a blue belt or purple belt. But anyway, this dude ran through all our guys. And then he got one of our good brown belts that I didn't think he was going to get. He freaking got him. Like, damn, man. And Henson was the last guy. I'm like, damn, Dave, you gotta handle this. David, I didn't even ask him. He said, come on, man, let's go. And this dude was like twice David's size.
I remember he was a visiting dude.
Yes. David freaking choked him out like in 2 seconds. Dude, done. And the guy went in the back and was puking his brains. I'm like, dude, I love jiu-jitsu. That was awesome.
I didn't know what was happening.
That was awesome. You always like going with the big guys.
I had no idea what was going on, and the dude was just like,
you remember that?
Kind of mean mugging everyone.
Yeah. That was awesome.
All right. Well, let's roll.
Fuck yeah.
And that's
Dude, I will admit right fucking here, I had some of my best rolls ever against you. Like,
well, Damon, you like to go against big guys, it seems like. Maybe that's why, huh?
I love it.
I know, it's weird.
I go back and forth with Dave, and I'm
You have a
like,
very unique style. That
yes, because I'm here, I'm like, I'm gonna show you wrist locks. He's like, no, motherfucker, I'm gonna show you some wrist locks. I'm like, oh shit. And dude,
we have those days where we just sit there and be like, who can wrist lock who first?
That's fine,
awesome,
dude.
It's so much fun. It's
so much fucking fun.
But it's like that's honestly how we got to know each other.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, we just fought a lot.
It's you get to like I know you guys like better than I know people that I grew up with. You know, just because. We have like dumb conversations after training, but we feel so comfortable with each other having vulnerable conversations or whatever.
That's cool.
Because our lives are in each other's hands.
It does.
Like Harold, you're a big dude. If you get a choke on me and you don't
let go, you'll die.
Yeah,
you're putting your life in another guy's hands, basically.
I'll do that any day I want. You know, like any day I'm around you in the gym, like I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
because I know you. You know,
100%.
There have been dudes where I've been like, well, I'm not letting him get anywhere close.
Yeah, he might do it.
I don't care if I win or I lose, but I'm not letting that person get close to my arms or my choke. You know, I had an instructor that
like I said, we got some guys we can throw some names out, but we
will not.
It's like,
I got one.
Fuck, you know.
Let's talk some shit,
Open up, just not name dropping in a bad way. Because they can go ugly.
I'm thinking of
I got a bunch of them.
Because we got another guest coming on who directly experienced that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
We need a whiteboard. We can write this shit down and like show it to each other.
Come back in. Look, that's it. Dude, and see, the other shit, though, because we keep building all these bonds, and like I said, we know each other through fighting.
Yeah.
It's crazy because we had to bring some shit up when it was Veterans Day, like
that was
like
it
was like 7 Veterans Days ago.
Yes.
And
the Veterans Day Massacre.
Oh my God, it was almost a Veterans Day.
Wait, is that the fight, the bar thing?
Yes.
That's the night that you got did somebody break in your car and steal your brown belt?
Oh yeah. Holy shit.
That was that night.
I forgot.
It was the hemp belt. The hemp belt. My man had a hemp belt, and it was awesome.
Holy shit. We're about to fuck the town up.
See, I brought back a bad memory.
Forgot about that.
The hemp
It
belt.
was dumping rain, and someone broke the windows of my truck, stole my backpack, and it had like a one-of-a-kind show-your roll gi I had gotten from like the show-your roll.
You were a brown belt at the time, I think, right?
Yeah, I was a brown belt, and I had started this tradition when I was tradition because it's only 2 belts, but when I was a purple belt, I'd accidentally ordered a white belt when I got my purple belt.
Oh, okay.
And the gym I was at, you had to have a purple belt to get on the mat once you got promoted. Otherwise, it's like not come back when you got your actual belt that you're supposed to get. So I went to Joanne Fabric and got some fabric dye, dyed my own belt, and it felt like it felt like real nice. So when I got my brown belt, I ordered this. There's a company called the Green Gi, and they made hemp.
You already know how that is.
They made hemp jiu-jitsu, everything.
Tree hugger.
And I got their white belt. I dyed it brown. It was this cool chocolate brown. I'd broken into it. I was 2.5 years into my brown belt,
deep in your brown.
and I was loving that thing. Like like when if you love your belt, like if you just have like 1,000 belts, you might not understand this. But if you have like a belt that you love and you put that in, you wipe your sweat off your brow with it and everything. Motherfucker broke into my truck and stole that. That was what I.
That was all bad, dude.
I was so pissed. I went for a walk in the rain that night. I was ready. If I had.
I'd be pissed, dude.
I had not found that
old song. I saw.
Bro, no, but that doesn't.
Him.
It was a good thing I didn't find that guy that night.
I said that too. I was like, God forbid, if we actually caught up with him, it would have been so fucked up.
Oh, dude, you could attach your belt.
I'm glad we never found him.
Yeah.
It sucks that shit happened to you. I'm glad we never.
Sucks, dude.
Because you went to jail, dude.
Yeah,
for real. Yeah, definitely.
Like my black, you got me a black belt for my birthday, right?
Yes,
That's the one that I wear. That's my black belt, dude. If somebody stole that, oh man,
Yeah, right. That's what I'm
oh
saying.
dude,
Oh,
it'd be all bad.
And speaking of dying,
Wait.
like shit. So this was
Yeah.
cool. The very first gi I ever bought, it was a judo gi with a judo white belt. It's all thick and heavy and shit. And so my fraternity, the colors of my frat are purple and gold. And you might have seen like pictures of me where I dyed that fucking gi purple. Dude, that shit was gangsta.
I did see that. I did see that.
that.
You got a mean look. You all mean mugging. Like, why are you looking all
That's
angry,
my
dude?
shit. And I remember, so I had that gi when I was a white belt. And then when I got my black belt, I took some pictures wearing that same that gi is tattered. I was wearing that tattered ass freaking purple gi. It was all white. I might have worn like once. It was all fucked up and faded. But I had the purple gi and my black belt, and I'm like, wow. And I was like, that was like 13 years of experience that fucking happened with that.
Yeah.
Joanne's.
Imagine someone steals that from you.
Oh man.
How hard? Yeah. But you were there. You saw. But so the story goes is that happened. So I walked around in the rain, like a 80s sad movie, Brian looking for someone like about to rage kill someone. And it's Veterans Day, so we're all, once we get done with the gym, we go on Friday nights. We go next door to the
conveniently
beer
located
place, conveniently located.
Very convenient.
The vault. Shout out to the vault.
Yeah,
Go to the vault.
Beer vault.
If you're in Rockland, go to the
Beer
vault.
vault,
Oh yeah.
infinite watering hole.
That's good shit. So went in, and it was me and our boy Randy first. So first of all, we finished up. It was that everybody went there.
It's me and you first.
Well, it was me and you first. What you went in there? Damn. And then everybody
Actually,
else.
no. You guys were at the gym. I went in there first. I saw you and Randy walk in.
Okay.
That's why.
So we were in there, right? And then because everybody ultimately ended up at the freaking thing.
Yeah.
And
Except me.
So, yeah, except
For whatever reason, I was at the school. I don't know why. I was stuck
why
there.
you weren't there. It was just one day you weren't there.
I know.
So yeah, we had the guy. It was weird. I think he was drunk and high and all kinds of stuff. And I'm there and I'm chilling and we're ordering drinks. We're talking to the bartender.
Well, as soon as you came in to order the drink, he starts calling you out. He's like, "You're not a veteran."
That's really bizarre. I can't picture that happening.
It was so weird, right?
That is
so
weird.
I just moved to this town like maybe a year. I don't even know if it was a whole year ago. And this town doesn't have too many people like me in it. At the time, there wasn't too many people with this complexion, and he was like, Big Chris was not there for this one.
Yeah, because we were like, good thing Big Chris.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would have been.
So he's like, hey, you're not a vet, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, hey, whatever, thanks, man, take it easy. And he's, oh, well, let me see your ID. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, dude, really? Look, I mean. Could I broke out my DD-214 and my ID and everything? Yeah, but why the fuck would I, right? So we're chilling, and he hit me with some shit. He's like, oh, okay, Obama. And I'm like.
He kept calling you Obama.
Damn.
And I was like.
Don't drink too much, you guys.
I'm already
That's a lesson today.
Up to,
Do not drink too much.
My volume is cranked to 11 at this point.
Yeah.
It was
ready
just
to roll.
Ridiculous, man. Right? So I'm trying to do what I always say: check your ego at the door, maintain your composure.
Yeah.
I'm like, could I just drag this guy and tear him to shreds?
Absolutely.
To be honest, you were controlling me at the time.
Yeah, I was trying to chill.
Yeah,
I was sitting next to you. You kept putting your hand on my shoulders.
He's even killed, dude. He's like the most even killed guy.
I'm telling myself, I'm following Harold's lead.
Yeah.
Harold says, go, we going.
Yeah.
But I chill everybody out, man, right? Because I'm like, this situation, if this situation gets out of hand, it's going to look bad for all of us.
Yep.
And I'm probably going to be the one to get shot.
Exactly.
But I was like, hey, let's chill, let's relax, it's cool. And I remember Randy, he comes over and he said some slick shit out of him too.
Randy was getting all
Randy ready to argue.
Randy
loved to argue. Randy loved to argue.
Go.
Oh man, yeah. Shout out to Randy too, because he's loved to argue, bro. He good too.
I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, let's stop, man. Let's get the hell out of here. It's not right. So ultimately, everything was, it was calmed down. It was quelled. and we all went our separate ways.
Captain Dan was there. I remember
no,
Captain
he
Dan
was
running
there,
to the
too.
school with no shirt on,
Everybody
like he's ready to
was-
kill everybody.
Everybody was there.
It's like I'm ready to fight everybody.
They all went to the outdoor seating area, and I was like, thank God. So then we all leave this place.
Yeah, you hung out inside with the dude for a little longer,
Yep.
talking to him.
because
You still
honestly,
get out, though.
because I'm chill.
Yeah,
Man.
it's chill.
I'm chill. Listen,
Chill.
the gift of gab.
Mhm.
I think what happens is, let me take a drink and
They might have
I'll tell you
a
exactly how this works.
they might have a perception of you
No,
right
I'm
before
gonna
getting to know you.
Shit, I'm gonna take just some of this whiskey that we got from somebody who might or might not be in the house. Hold on.
Shout out to Halen. Oh,
Shout out to Halen.
where's Halen?
I don't know where's Helen.
He ran Halen running things.
So I think what really happened.
Oh yeah, we've
I
been
think what
spitting for a
really
minute.
happened is that. Oh man, let me cook. I think what really happens is that motherfuckers here. Why you doing that?
You just be laughing. Bro, you hear that? You hear that?
So
Let him cook.
motherfuckers hear this melodious ass voice, this old Barry White ass fucking voice. Even if you're straight, you still hear this shit, and you were like, "Damn."
Look like Teddy Pendergrass.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
you're like,
he's
turn them off.
Yeah, shut it off.
Turn them off. Damn. People are like, I can't even be racist against them anymore. I gotta just chill the
You're
fuck
funny,
out.
man.
I gotta
Oh,
chill,
my God.
man. Hey, maybe you are a vet, man. Let me buy you a drink.
Oh,
The dude was our buddy, and he was hanging out, like trying to be our friend, which was you.
That's so
that was
funny.
all you. You.
And
So-
see, you could have made it go all bad.
Right,
So it's
and
like we have
it was
control.
all
of it.
dependent on Harold's reaction.
Yes.
I would have followed his lead, but honestly, you made that night work. But the night went on, and it ended up being one of the funniest
It
nights of all
was
time.
hilarious.
We pick up.
When we go out,
we
save this. We're gonna save the second half for another day
Okay.
because yes, that.
We'll just say we tend to pick up strays sometimes when we go out, and that night we picked up what?
It was like
8?
4 or 5. Yeah, it might have been
Because we had the two
Yes,
brothers.
We had the two brothers.
The dude who
Oh,
left his wife that night, and then just came to the bar. Yeah, it ended up
shit.
me and you at that picnic table, and everybody else. We had no idea
You
who
know,
they were.
no,
I swear we got to do another one.
we need Harold. We need to do a vault episode. Remember we rolled those Marines and coming in with. I'm like, I opened the school up. I've opened the school up like 3 times for cats talking about jiu-jitsu. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, let's go.
This motherfucker had people coming from the vault next door.
Next
He's
door,
fighting
dude.
them and shit.
I know, it's crazy.
It's called Legend of the Vault.
Yes.
Legend.
So I will leave the.
That's
I will
awesome, man.
leave.
Legend
I'll
of the
leave the Veterans Day guy at the bar
Yeah.
there because yes, there was some other shit that went down
Lots of
after that, and they were from fucking Portland. They were from fucking Portland. It was those brothers.
the bro. Yeah,
The brothers are from Portland. Holy
but then
shit.
there's. Yeah,
And
the
yes.
one dude left his wife that night, and he was like crying at the table.
Oh man,
and
no wonder.
drinking
See, you don't
the
know
rest
what
of
you don't know what's going on with people. That's the thing.
Well, that's the thing.
You don't
It's
know what's
we
going on with
learned
people.
that night. It's like
Yeah.
Harold calmed the situation down, and
Yes.
it's just a lonely dude trying to, be big in front of people.
Exactly.
What's her name? Was behind the bar.
Anna Marie.
She was behind the bar.
Shout out to Anna Marie. Remember
Shout out to
Anna Marie?
Anna
Shout out to
Marie.
Anna Marie.
Yeah.
Shout out to the other girl. She's pretty cool too. The new one,
Anna.
Anna.
Anna. Oh, that's Anna. Anna. Shout out to Anna. And
Like,
wait,
there's a type.
also there's another one. What's the other one? DG.
No,
Shout
I
out
don't
DG.
remember her name.
Hold on, I got a list of
Shout out
people
DJ.
that shout out right now.
He said DG.
Oh,
He
DG.
calls her Demon Girl.
That's-
She's
that's-
super nice. I almost made her cry one day. I felt bad, but no.
She's very nice.
You guys, though.
Very
I
nice.
watched you guys talk mad shit to her.
Oh,
She threw it right back at you.
Yeah, our thing was our political and ideology.
Yeah, but that was just the one time. After that, she's chill.
She's super
She's
chill.
very
That's
nice,
why I
very
draw
nice
the line on
girl.
this podcast.
Yeah, we're not going to go there.
Yeah, we need a new one for that.
Not at all.
Unless we get more drinks. Halen, make it
But I like what he said. Vault, what did he say? Vault stories or whatever. That was good. Vault Chronicles.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So when all that shit went down, it was awesome that. Here you go. It was awesome that so many people that I had met less than a year ago through jujitsu had my fucking.
Oh, dude,
Mhm.
dude, that's jujitsu right there.
That was amazing to me. Like I had my crew for 13 plus years, and then I came here, and it's like I never left home. I walked out of my house into my house. That's how it felt.
Okay, so that's actually
I felt like you guys had my back immediately.
that's a tradition we can end on because it was about tradition. I'll give you this. There's guys in jiu-jitsu that there's some guys I don't like. right? We all have that. There's a couple guys, cats out there I don't like, but I tell you what, if I saw them in a parking lot and something happened, I got their back, dude. 100%. They're a jiu-jitsu brother, dude. 100%. I will freaking die, dude, to try to help them. I swear to God, dude. It's just the way it is. It's jiu-jitsu, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Jiu-jitsu makes the closest of friends.
It really does. It really does.
Recently got married. 3 of my groomsmen were all people from jiu-jitsu, and the other 2 were my brothers.
It's beautiful.
So shout out to all the guys I hate. I got your back. I still got your back. I hate you, but I love you.
It's good to have nemesis.
Yeah, because you really don't hate them. You're just like, dang, this guy's like.
You just don't click.
Yeah, you don't click or whatever.
Nemesis night. Our coach would be like, hey, it's nemesis night. Get your nemesis and roll. And he wouldn't say who it is. You just looked around the room and you'd be like,
yeah. And I'll go even deeper than that.
Catch eyes with that one dude across the room. You go, we both know it's. All right,
I'll go even deeper than that. I would put it on the line that they would do the same for me.
I agree.
Guaranteed. Because they're jiu-jitsu brothers, man. They're not going to let me get jacked up. They'll be like, oh, man, that guy trains, dude. I guarantee it they would.
And also those things, like if there's a little bit of space sometimes, like you change schools and that person that you didn't like from there before, you see him somewhere else. All of a sudden, that guy can be your boy.
It's a different environment.
Exactly.
The way you dealt with him here is not the way you deal with him there. Mm-hmm. And look, dude, we've got a gang of motherfuckers who are no longer at our school. They're spread to the wind.
Yeah.
And I love all you guys.
It's still our boys, man.
I know that I'm welcome at your school.
Yep.
I'm welcome at this other guy's school. I'm welcome at this guy's school, and vice versa.
Yep.
And that's
you better believe if I go to New Jersey, I'm dropping an acid.
Oh my
and I'm like,
God,
hey, Shave sent me.
They'll be like, what?
Oh, I want the biggest guy. Schaefer sent me. Where's the biggest guy?
Like, I got a list of people he said I'd be a good role here. Where is?
Yeah, where's XYZ? Yeah. Like my boy Joel. Shout out to Joel. Even if we go to freaking New Mexico, we got shit. We got because he and I, we got our black belts together. We showed up. I had a blue gi. He had a red gi. We went in there like fucking double dragon.
I could top that.
You remember that? You remember double dragon? Oh man, it was awesome.
Yo, I could top that though.
Yeah.
Henson has a freaking green gi.
Remember
the green gi? It's like I just got a long gi. Yeah.
Well, I got 2.
It's like a bright green gi. I'm like, what? I've never seen a green gi. Like this is so weird. But it was all right. Yep. It's funny. Yes.
It was my Ninja Turtle.
It was the Ninja Turtle.
Very green.
Oh yeah.
Like,
all right for my kids' class.
It's all good, dude. He owns that gi. He owns it,
man. All right, I know we're about to wrap up, but hold on, because I know we're just talking a whole bunch of shit. Just jump in there. Just jump in
there. Get up in here.
Just jump. Come on this side. Come on this side. Come over here.
Lover boy.
What's up, everybody?
We had Halen here. He was giving us all our drinks and shit.
Enjoying it.
We loved it. Helen, say hello to the people.
Hey guys, thanks for bringing me on again. It was so much fun watching you guys. I gotta say, from the other side of the camera, it's weird. Awesome. It's weird. It's professional. I'm not kidding you guys. This is my favorite thing. Just to hang out and watch in person was such a fun time. I can't wait for you guys to just hang out, watch the episode, leave some comments. This shit was awesome.
Thank you.
You guys did so much fun.
Hell yeah! All right, get the fuck out of here. Yes. So it was so cool, man. I had a great time. Rod, you want to wrap it up, man? Wait, actually, fuck it. Let me wrap it up. Let me just wrap it. Let me say that. All right. I'll put a bow on. Look, I love you guys. Seriously, I've really have had some of the greatest roles with you. I know you guys are real serious about your jiu-jitsu. I know that you're out there, Dave. You're doing the damn thing. You're teaching law enforcement. You're trying to make people better. Me and Rod, we just bullshit. I teach. Yeah,
everyone's in that. Teach.
Look, if you're a white belt and you want to get your leg ripped off, come see Rod. But
and if you really want to get it ripped off, go see Ian.
Oh,
shout out to Ian.
Yeah, bring him in.
Yeah, shout out to Ian.
Yeah, shout out to
Ian.
All
the various people over there.
I'm like the introductory. Now go see Ian after that.
So ultimately, man, we're doing the damn thing. I appreciate the feedback we've been getting on our podcast, and as for us, we're going to live by the saying that if it's important to you, you'll find a way, and if it's not, you'll find an excuse. We're going to find a way to keep bringing this to you guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
on that note, that's it. Yeah, if you guys like it, hit subscribe. If you stay this long, you guys are definitely committed. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you next time.
Take it easy.
Thank you.